All right, so we are recording. All right, so just a couple of things that I want to go over with you guys first before Josh jumps on the call tonight. So we have lots of things that are happening. Number one, we've got the launch of 80 Day Obsession, which is happening next Thursday, so December the 14th. If you haven't had a chance to go through the file section in any of the team pages, I did a Q&A call last night, which actually it got split into two separate parts. So if you want to go back and listen to that, I actually walk you through what 80 Day Obsession is. I walk you through the program package options. I walk you through visuals of that. I've even loaded all of those images into the files section. So you should have all of those things. The other thing, hi Josh, I'm just doing some announcements real quick. So the other thing too is to go through and listen to the National Wake Up Call today, where Miguel went through just some ways to promote 80 Day Obsession. Also, I have some other team calls and things that I've done as well, but really going through, and there is a FAQ. It is FAQ 8020. And because there are so many different package options, I actually printed it out and then I highlighted them as I was talking about them last night and made sure that I understood each one as I went through that process. So this may be helpful for you to do as well. And then the last thing that I will say is that I am going to kind of do this little launch party next Thursday night. So kind of like we did with Cyber Monday, where we did a 2-hour event, we're going to do the same thing next Thursday when the product launches and go through all the supplements and the programs and the resistance bands and talk about results. So that's something that I'm sort of working on, and we're going to do to kind of prepare you guys that you can invite your customers and prospects to as well, to kind of get the hype up and get people excited about it and get that ball rolling. I am in the process of getting Autumn to do a call with us. We're just trying to nail down the day and the time. So what I'm thinking that we'll do with that call is open it up to any customers that are going to be doing the program as well. So this is really good leverage for you to get people to sign up when it's launched, and you can use that as an exclusive call to get on with Autumn and ask and do a Q&A about 80 Day Obsession. So those are just some 80 Day Obsession things that should definitely be a big focus. Every coach should experience the program. I encourage you to go through it if you physically can. Go through the program. The best ways to build your business are to do the program. Whatever program I'm doing always seems to be the one I sell the most of, because I'm invested, I'm talking about it, I'm sharing the nutritional plans, I'm sharing my workouts, and that's how I sort of get that engagement as I go. So definitely wanted to share that with you as well. All right, last announcement is that in January, we are hosting Super Saturday in Pittsburgh, which we do every year, every quarter actually. And so Carl Deichler will be in town on Friday night. We have Joel Freeman on Saturday morning. We are doing a training event on Friday night. And then Saturday will be the official Super Saturday event. And then we're looking to host a team party on Saturday night, just a celebration to kind of kick off 2018, but also to really highlight and spotlight a lot of you that have just been amazing team members. And so we're looking at Perlay, which is that champagne bar we did maybe 3 years ago now. It's been 3 or 4 years. And that was one of our favorite places. We have to get about 150 people there. So that's what we're working on. So if you are interested in coming in, you would like to come celebrate, you'd like to come to the party, that'll be January. It'll be a great night. We've got lots of exciting things planned as well. So every year, spouses are welcome, significant others are welcome. It's a good time. Again, a great way to sort of mastermind, bring your teams in. I know lots of people are flying and driving in for the weekend. So wanted to get that on your radar. That's the first full weekend of January. By the end of the week, I promise to have all of the details up and running. But you can get registered for Super Saturday now. And honestly, I would, because it's going to sell out. Our room isn't as big as the one we've had in the past. So you're definitely going to want to reserve your spots. It's at the Omni downtown in the William Penn, Omni William Penn, right down in downtown Pittsburgh. All right. So with that being said, Josh, thanks so much for being here on our call tonight. So this is our weekly team call. Every Monday night, our organization does a team call. And so we've asked you to speak. You got a chance to speak to our leaders maybe about, 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and they loved it. Still raving about it. For those of you that don't know Josh, he is a John Maxwell team member, and he calls himself the push coach. He gave himself that name, and it's good because he does a great job at motivating and pushing people to reach their business goals. And I know that many of us have goals, or we struggle with reaching those goals, or we struggle with maximizing our potential or seeing the vision. And he's really great at giving an outside perspective, that isn't always solely focused on Beachbody. So, Josh, we're really excited to have you here tonight, and I am going to be quiet and turn it over to you. So,
thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound
okay.
Great.
Sweet. Sorry, I was a few minutes late. I'm over at my parents' house. They're watching the kiddos. And you know how it is when you get on a new computer and you're always just so used to your computer and you just click join meeting and then you get on someone else's computer and everything's logged into their crap and then you got to go log out. Anyways, I have tech issues every single time I ever do anything, but I'm happy to be here. I'm pumped to be here because tonight I want to share with you what is technically kind of like my curriculum / philosophy behind the whole push coach idea. As Melanie said, I am a member of the John Maxwell team. I'm technically a certified life coach. So what happened, just to give you a little background, is I was building my business as a life coach. No one in Tulsa, Oklahoma liked me. And so I decided to go online. Said, let's try this social media thing. At the time, no one was really doing that. I was the only person on the John Maxwell team that was utilizing social media to build a business. And so I was literally making it up as I went. And so I created what I did not know already existed, something you guys call the vital behaviors. For me, it was a trial and error process of what works, what doesn't, what's wasting my time, what is a good use of time. And I actually created my own daily game plan that ended up, I later found out, had a name called the vital behaviors, which is why I work so well with Beachbody coaches, because the same things you guys preach, the same things Melanie is preaching every single week, day in and day out, I swear to you it works. I swear to you it's not more complicated. No matter how many webinars you get on, no matter how many different people tell you they have magic formulas for your business, I'm telling you, this is the same way I built my life coaching business. It works. I've trained people in other companies that are literally doubling and tripling their sales using the vital behaviors. I'm telling you, this is a staple of business. These are laws. These are not just things we made up to give you something to do. It works. Well, my first year of life coaching, I guess actually my first 2 years life coaching. Life coaching is a process. It's a process of me asking you questions to draw out of you what you want, the things you already know on how to get there, and then helping you to become intentional and consistent with those things. Well, here's what happened. After a couple of years, I realized that lots of people were paying Josh lots of money to hang out. I wasn't okay with that. I did not like receiving lots of money for the sake of people not actually getting what I was trying to offer them, which was a way to grow their business. What they really wanted to do was pay Josh money and have Josh fix their business. I'm sure some of you have ran into that before if you're in a leadership role at all. If I could just get 30 minutes with Josh, everything would work out. Everything would be fine. He'd have this magic answer for me that would have nothing to do with working or being consistent. And unfortunately, what I found was the 10% of people that were actually doing the things I was preaching were getting incredible results. And the other 90% were hanging out doing nothing and therefore getting no results. So it was in the beginning of 2017, actually the end of 2016, I was asking myself, why is it so many people are not getting results? Why is it that the few that are working with me that are getting these incredible results and other people aren't? And I started to reflect and I started to ask myself, okay, what are the most successful people doing? In 2015, I helped Brittany Powers go top 10 in 2016. I helped Raina go top 10. This year, I've helped Micah go double superstar. She's going to hit top 10. I did not help her on her first run to top 10, but this time I did. I'm going, what is it about these specific cases? In 2015, which was the same year I helped Brittany, there were probably 6 different people that I helped go elite for the first time that were 2 stars at the beginning of October. I helped them go 5-star by the middle of November. Why are these people getting incredible results and everybody else is just hanging out? And I stopped and I reflected, as John Maxwell has taught me to do, realize experience is not our greatest teacher, but evaluated experience is our greatest teacher. And what I realized was something that would change the entire way I would run my business. Something that I'm going to teach you tonight has taken my training groups from seeing 10% success rates to seeing more like 40 to 45% success rates. Guys, if you don't know this, to see 40% of your people succeed is almost unheard of. Show me anyone who has 40% of their people succeeding, and I will show you someone that's blowing the world up. And I don't say that to brag on myself, because it's not me. It is not me. It's never been me. It'll never be me. I don't fix people. I don't do anything other than create the environment. But this is the environment that I started to create for people. And it's all based around this one word. I want you to write this word down in all caps, because it is about to change the way you do business for the rest of your life. And if you will stick to it, you will see massive growth, you will see massive results, and you will find yourself teaching this to your team, and you will find your team blowing up. Are you ready for it? I hope I hyped it up enough. The word, all caps, write it down, is urgency. Urgency. The thing I realized was all of the people that had incredible results with me were people who on the very first call said, Josh, I have this crazy thing I want to do, and I don't even know if it's possible. Some of them weren't even willing to say they wanted it. Some people tiptoed around on it enough, and with me using enough questions to really help them dig in, they eventually admitted it was what they wanted. In fact, on most calls, on most first calls with my one-on-one clients, very first call, one of the first questions I asked them is, what do you want to accomplish more than anything else this year? And almost every single time, I see their eyeballs light up as they think about what they really want for literally 1 or 2 seconds. And then almost immediately, their eyeballs drop, and I see their limiting beliefs kick in. And instead of telling me what they really want, they instead tell me what they think they're capable of. Setting goals based on what you're capable of is the most dangerous thing you can ever do. Because at the end of the day, none of us ever actually perform at high enough of a rate to accomplish the thing we set out to do. And so if you set what you think you're capable of, here's the problem. When you know you're capable of it, you automatically lower your standards and your expectations and your work ethic, because subconsciously you have already decided you're capable of it. You don't have to really try that hard. But when you are willing to say something out loud that's crazy, I've heard them called BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goal. I don't know if I call them puke goals. That's what I call them, because when I started teaching people how to create urgency in their business, people started saying things like this. Oh my God, I just wrote down my new goal and I feel like I'm going to throw up in my mouth. And I heard that over and over and over and over until I just branded myself and said, hashtag let's puke together. And now I have an entire hashtag. I wear it on my wrist every single day. Let's puke together, to remind myself over and over and over, it's all about creating urgency. If I said to every single person on this call right now, we've got 147 of you on live, probably hundreds more, maybe thousands more watching the recording. If I said to you right now, I need you to make a sale before you go to bed, how many of you just felt a jolt of energy? Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, 3 things start to happen. And I'm going to walk you through those 3 things that happen when we create urgency in our business. Okay. But first, I want every single one of you, as you're taking notes, okay, I want you to make a post tonight on Instagram, and I want you to tag me. And tomorrow, which is, what's tomorrow? The 5th? Tuesday the 5th, okay? I'm going to pick 2 of you to win a free training group, okay? Totally free training group on me. You can pick anything off my website and I'll let you do it for free. Just tag me on a post on Instagram with your favorite quote from tonight because I want to hear what you got from tonight, okay? So here's the 3 things that are about to change your life. Is number 1, urgency creates focus. Focus is maybe the most underestimated part of success. People who succeed have incredible focus. They have this incredible ability. Here, I'll put it over here in the I am Josh Coates. Type Josh _. That's why I have assistants because I can't even type. Push coach. There we go. Josh Coates _ push coach. If I said make a sale before you go to bed, how many of you would spend 45 minutes in word swag trying to pick the right font? How many of you would be in Rona Design going, do I want to add stars to this or maybe a unicorn? I can't decide which one. How many of you would spend 45 minutes trying to decide between, Alamo filter and Nashville filter? I can't even remember what they're all called. How many of you would spend the next 2 to 3 hours editing your workout video? None of you. If I said make a sale before you go to bed, every single one of you would go into your messenger right now and you would message the crap out of people because you know, whether you're willing to admit it or not, on the 1st of the month, we're at the 4th of the month, so very few people are actually living with this state of urgency right now. Come the 29th, it'll hit all of you. All of you. On the 4th of the month, most people are playing on Word Swag and Rona Design, and very few people are talking to people. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't post on social media, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't post good quality things on social media because social media is I was talking to someone about it today. Social media is one of the greatest follow-up tools we have on the planet. I just messaged you and told you about my products yesterday. You said no, but guess what? Today I am in your news feed, rocking it, being awesome. It is the greatest follow-up in the world. But how many of you know there's no such thing of a follow-up if there wasn't an initial conversation? That's not a follow-up, right? And too many people own a billboard and you're flashing your billboard for everybody to see, but nobody even knows that you sell anything because you haven't taken the time to talk to them. Multi-level marketing, another word for it is relationship marketing. It's building relationships. It's the same way I built my life coaching. The reason I'm able to mentor multi-level marketers the way I do is because my business at the beginning was a relationship marketing business. I was giving away free one-on-ones, which I still do occasionally. I was doing free team calls, which I still do. That's the number one business builder for me still today, is reaching out to people and offering free team calls. It's not fun. I hate it. I absolutely hate messaging people. Yes, I still have a voice in the back of my head that says, what if they think you're just using them to try to make sales? Well, sorry. If you do, you won't respond and whatever, I'll move on to the next person. But I have value to offer. You have value to offer. That's what a sale is. It's an exchange of value. That's all a sale is, an exchange of value. If I told you, make a sale tonight, all of a sudden we begin to focus on all the right things, which is why starting this year in 2017, can't believe it's almost 18. Wow. In all of my training groups, I started implementing an app that had a daily activities tracker on it that included the vital behaviors. And when people started living by my app, I started hearing things like this, and this will blow you away. I started hearing from Beachbody coaches, oh my gosh, Josh, I've been living by your app, and because of that, I haven't missed a single workout this month, and I'm actually losing weight, and I'm actually getting my own results, and I'm actually more confident than I've ever been about selling my products. Well, holy crap, can you imagine that Beachbody coaches are doing their workouts? But guys, this is the reality of what's happening. The reality of what's happening is we have a whole bunch of humans. We're human. We're all human who aren't focused on the right things. And here's why, because there's no urgency. I want to challenge everyone before I even move on to point 2. I want to challenge you the way I challenge people in my training groups. I hope you're ready for this. If you're a brand new coach, man, what a month to sign up and have this as one of your first calls. Just bear with us, okay? Just bear. If you're a brand new coach, I love you. I believe in you. Life is going to be awesome. You're going to love this company. But just bear with me for a second while I call out everyone else on their crap, okay? Can you do that? I love you. Come hang out with me. We'll be nice. We'll be kind. I promise. But some people on this call have been doing this for 6 months and they need a little butt kicking, okay? In 6 months, you may need a butt kicking too, so just hang with me. Katie's brand new. Okay, Katie, you're awesome. If you can learn this from the get-go, I'm telling you, you are going to rock this freaking business and you are going to help a lot of freaking people, okay? So here's my challenge to those of you on this call. Whatever your monthly goal has been, now becomes your weekly goal. Now that's some crazy stuff right there, Josh. Now I think you're probably already understanding my hashtag, let's puke together. Because here's the problem, guys. The company has created for us this monthly goal of hitting Success Club. Here's the thing I want you to understand. If you are a brand new coach, Success Club needs to be your goal. Brand new coach. Here's the problem. We have this thing called Success Starters, okay? That's the way we reward people for hitting Success Club 5 their first 3 months. We give you a free ticket to Summit. That is freaking awesome. That is exactly how it should look. Here's the problem. Some of you have been around for 9 months. Some of you have been around for 12 months. Some of you have been around for 3 years, and you're still trying to be a success starter. Notice the terminology there, success starter. I'm just going to be real honest here. When I get put in team pages, which a lot of my one-on-one clients put me in, people put me in team pages so that I can go live in their pages and stuff, sometimes for calls. The first thing I do when I see that Success Club recognition at the end of the month, first thing I do is I go to the far left and I want to see everyone that's hitting Success Club 20 or higher. I know those are the people rank advancing. Those are the people earning full-time incomes or on their way to earning full-time incomes. Those are the people who are doing some really awesome stuff. That is not to degrade or belittle anyone else, because anything you do to change your life is incredible and it is commendable, and I'm proud of you and I'm excited for you. But I didn't come here tonight to pat you on the back and be your life coach. I came here to be your push coach. I came here to help you reach your full potential. And I'm telling you, you are capable of more if you'll set the goal of urgency, because this forces you to live in a state of, I need to get something done today. And that's another reason why in my challenge groups or in my groups, I have people post a transformation picture every single Friday. Every Friday. Why? Because if you got to post something every Friday, that means I got to do something this week to have a little bit more of a transformation than I had last week. That forces urgency even in my health and fitness goals to make sure I show up every day. Because here's what we do is we go, you know what? I need to hit Success Club this month. It's the 4th. And it's so easy to go, you know what? But my favorite show's on tonight. I mean, I got 26 more days. Maybe I'll just make a fun post and someone will reach out to me. Okay, unless you got like 30,000 Instagram followers, you're not making a post and having people reach out to you. I'm sorry. Should you work your butt off to get to 30,000 followers? Absolutely. Until then, talk to lots of people. The 10th comes around. What do? I really want to hit Success Club this month. I mean, I didn't do it last month. I really want to make it happen this month. But you know what? We got family coming in town this weekend, and there's still 20 days left. Now, you may not actually say this out loud, but subconsciously, it is so easy to let yourself off the hook when you have sufficient amount of time. It's one of the reasons I'm 5 minutes late for everything I do, because I always think I have more time than I do. Always, right? Now, I don't do this with my business. I'm just really bad about doing this with my schedule. That's why I don't even touch my calendar. I have an assistant who manages my calendar, and I won't even touch it because I will always assume I have more time than I have. And I will run 20 minutes late for everything, and I'd be giving people refunds and their money back like crazy if I was always 20 minutes late. So here's the thing. I need you to understand that people who perform at a high level are people who are willing to set bigger goals to force a higher level of action. It's all about the environment that you create for yourself. And by setting higher goals, you create an environment that forces you to show up at a higher level. When you set urgent goals, it creates a focus like you've never had before. And I always tell people that when you have the proper amount of focus, you will actually find yourself performing at a higher level, putting out bigger numbers, and actually working less. That's the thing that scares people. You're so afraid to set a higher goal because you go, Josh, I'm busy. I've got family. I did not start this business to never see my family. I don't want to be on my phone all day and night. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. And it's going to change your life forever. The reason you're on your phone all day and night is because you haven't created any urgent goals. So you're not doing any of the right things. So you're actually on your phone all day and night trying to figure out a way to get all the things done when you never actually did any of the things. So you find yourself overwhelmed. You find yourself exhausted. You find yourself unfulfilled. And on top of that, broke. Now, here's the thing. If I'm making really awesome paychecks, I can handle being a little bit tired and a little bit overwhelmed. But there's nothing worse than being tired, overwhelmed, and broke. But that's what happens when you have some lame goals that don't push you to go for something higher. The next thing people say is, yeah, but I don't want to set myself up to fail. Well, then that's your biggest problem, is that you think failure is a bad thing. Failure is not a bad thing. See, we have this mentality, okay? Here in a couple of weeks, the college football championship is going to happen. My boys, the Sooners, we're going. We got to play Georgia. It's going to be rough. If we beat Georgia, we move on to play the winner of Clemson and Alabama. And guess what? If we lose that game, we will be remembered in history as the team who lost it all. Not as the team who worked their butts off, not as the team who won the Big 12 championship, not as the team who went to the championship. We will be remembered as the losers. And that is the problem with American culture. Because of our high sports mentality and the way we've been brought up, we think that you either win or you lose. So if you miss your goal, you think you're a loser. And that is not how successful people think. Now, will OU be disappointed when they leave the field? Yeah, they'll probably cry, honestly. But you know what they will do? They will take the off season and they will work harder than they've ever worked before. They will train harder than they've ever trained before. And they will learn from everything they got wrong this year to try to come back next year and do it better. I don't know. We got a Georgia fan. Oh, no, we're going to have a fight. I don't know of anyone who has won a championship every single time they stepped on the field. In fact, if you win a championship, even if you have 14 losing seasons in a row, if you then win a championship, as I'm sure Melanie knows, Ben Roethlisberger will be considered a champion for the rest of his life, even though he's only won a couple times. All the other years he lost, and several years he didn't even make the playoffs. But history will not remember that. They will remember that he won championships, and that will be all that matters. See, we put so much into our losses, not realizing that our losses are what lead us to our victories. You may set a goal for Success Club 20 this month, and if that's the first time you've ever set that goal, there's a really good chance you won't get it. But you know what you will do? If your average is Success Club 5, I'd be willing to bet you bump up to 8 or 9, maybe even 10 or 12. And then you say, you know what? I failed, but you know what? I can learn from that, because there was a couple days that I wasn't focused properly. There was a couple days I didn't do the right things. There was maybe a couple posts that honestly were not even the right time of the day. And you start to evaluate, because when you lose, it gives you an opportunity to evaluate. You honestly don't learn anything when you win. You don't learn anything. You win, it's cool. You get a nice paycheck, but you don't learn. But if you can hit a goal for Success Club 20, maybe this month you go to 7, maybe only 8. You say, that's fine. Let's learn these lessons. Let's get better next month. You come back next month, maybe you hit 12. You say, that's fine. I missed my goal, but that's okay. What can I learn from it? How can I become a better person? How can I grow from this? How can I, maybe there's some, maybe I need to listen to my customers. There's always something to learn if you're just looking for it. Guys, my first year where I found out that Tulsa hated me, I learned so many lessons. I'm talking I feel like I showed up in year 2. Guys, I was life coaching 10-star diamond coaches who were making $250,000 a year while I was still detailing cars making less than $50,000 a year. Why? Because I was so devoted to growth. I was willing to learn from every single failure. So by year 2, I swear to you, I had the knowledge and the wisdom of people that had been doing this thing for 5 or 10 years. Because in that 1 year, I was so willing to fail. I learned a lifetime worth of lessons in 1 year. It's not about hitting your goal this month. This is something Grant Cardone has taught me. It's not about reaching your goals. It's simply about stretching yourself to find out what you're capable of. All we're trying to do is stretch so that we can keep growing. So I'm going to challenge you tonight, okay? I'm going to challenge you. I want you to set a puke goal, okay? Melanie, would you after the call, would you start a thread? And I want to hear people's puke goals. I want to see what they're going to push themselves to do. And you know what? You may not be ready to take your monthly goal and turn it into your weekly goal. That's okay. All I want you to do is set a goal that makes you go, holy crap, I'm going to have to show up with my A game to make that happen. Because here's what I want. I want you to show up with your A game. Not even just every month, every week. Not just every week, every single day. I'm actually listening to a book right now. I believe it's called The Power of Habits. And it says that the things we do with our everyday life have nothing to do with decisions. We think they are. We think they're decisions that we make, but really they're the results of the habits we've created. I'm about to do an entire teaching next month to start off 2018 on the power of habits. Successful people create incredible habits. And I want you to create a habit of bringing your A game every single day. So 1, urgency creates focus. 2, urgency breeds creativity. Urgency breeds creativity. When I was helping Raina at the end of last year, man, we had some sessions where we just had to dig in and say, okay, what we're currently doing isn't enough. What else could we do? One of my favorite questions in the world is, what else can we do? Because it forces me to go to the inside. And it forces me to start thinking and getting creative because, guys, there is always something else we can do. And it doesn't necessarily have to take more time. In fact, if we get creative enough, we can create greater results in less time. I tell my clients this all the time. Here's the thing. I don't need 12 hours a day out of you. I don't even want 12 hours a day of you. My God, I want you to clock out. I know we don't have clock, but I want you to clock out. I want you to go for a hike. I want you to go clear your brain, because if you're a high performance athlete, you cannot perform on 4 hours of sleep. I played sports my whole life. I can't say that I was good enough to go D1 or play pro or anything like that, but I know enough about sports to know when you got 4 hours of sleep and you're hungover, you're not exactly the best athlete and performer. In fact, a bad athlete can whip a good athlete's butt anytime if the good athlete is sick or tired, unless they're Michael Jordan and they show up with the flu and make 25 points, whatever. That's Michael Jordan, okay? I don't want you to show up with the flu. If we overwork ourselves, we actually do more damage than we do good. I've learned this lesson the hard way a couple times. It's not good. I do so much better on a clear brain. I took the whole weekend. I went to the lake. I stayed in the cabin. I went on bike rides. And man, I felt incredible when I came home. I probably worked harder physically. I mean, I worked out every morning and went for 10-mile bike rides each day. But I felt phenomenal because my brain was clear. And I came home this week ready to go. Ready. I mean, my calls today that I had, I was more fired up. Tonight, I'm fired up. I'm ready for the week. Why? Because I've got a clear and free brain. But I love to ask myself, what else could I do? Because it forces me to get creative. Now, if you're a new coach, please, 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 please don't ask yourself what else you can do until you're doing the things we've already asked you to do. I just need to make that clear because we have so many coaches who aren't actually doing their vitals, who think it's time to get creative and create an entire click funnel, which takes 6 months to successfully set up, by the way. We ain't got 6 months, okay? That's the kind of thing you do once you've created enough momentum that you have some extra time to put away. But when you're managing 2 different jobs and 4 different kids and all, don't get too creative on me. Just stick to the basics, okay? But if you're someone on this call that you have a full-time income, especially if you've got a full-time income and you've been kind of topped out at your performance level, I want you to ask yourself, what else could I do? Could I build a larger following on Instagram? If so, go get a good training and learn how to do that. Could I learn Facebook ads? If so, go get a good training, learn how to do that. Get creative about creating more streams. Successful business people create multiple income streams. I think that successful entrepreneurs create multiple following streams. Okay, I've got a like page with 26,000 people. I've got an Instagram with 8,000 or 9,000. I've got my Facebook personal page, I think has friends maxed out, and then another 5,000 or 6,000 followers. And then I've got an email list of 12,000. Why? Because when I tackle one thing, I learn it, I perfect it, I get it going, and then I say, where else can we go? You have to constantly stay ahead of the curve, because if you don't, just like recruiting, people are constantly dropping off. If you're not finding the next thing, guess what? The thing you're rocking today may be gone tomorrow. Now, again, if you're not doing the vitals, don't worry about this step. Don't worry about it at all. Stick with the first one. And then number 3, and this one is maybe the most important. In fact, it's not a business principle. It is a life principle. This is what all successful people in any arena, any area of life understand. That urgency demands ownership. It absolutely demands ownership. My first year in business, I'm going to go back to this because I think it's very, very, very important. I was taking people out for coffee. I was hosting my own live events because that's what the John Maxwell team said to do. Unfortunately, I only had like 10 friends. I went to a very small church where I'd played on the worship team for many years, detailed cars, played in rock bands. I didn't know anybody in Tulsa that wanted to be life coached by the kid who literally a year ago had hair down to his chin and was wearing girl jeans. Like not literally girl jeans, but might as well have been. Melanie, see me in person. I pretty much still wear girl jeans. It's fine. Nobody wanted to be mentored by that guy. Okay. I was following the system that the John Maxwell team had created and said, this is what works. Now, that is not to knock on the John Maxwell team. The John Maxwell team was full of a whole bunch of people who came from the business world, who had business contacts, who had other friends who were managers and business owners and all of this. That was kind of their, specific person. I was not the first person on the team who didn't have that background, but I was the first person on the team who decided to take ownership for the fact that that system didn't work for me and I was going to have to find something different. I could have sat around and whined and complained about it, and I could still be sitting here today saying, I'm trying to host live events. I'm trying to take people out for coffee. I could still be sitting here today whining and complaining that the John Maxwell team doesn't teach the right thing. But instead, I said, I am committed to doing whatever it takes. So I went to social media and I messaged the crap out of every single person on the planet that I could possibly find, offering free one-on-one consultations. I'm talking at some point, I'm pretty sure everyone on Facebook hated my guts. I didn't care. Because I knew I had value to offer and I was willing to do whatever it would take to change the life that my family had. I was sick and tired of telling my kids, no, we can't go to the birthday party. Daddy doesn't have money to buy them a present. No, we can't go out to eat with all your friends after church. Daddy don't have the money. We're going to go home and fix quesadillas. No, we can't throw a cool birthday party. We're going to have the family over to the house. No, we can't go do this. No, there is some no that is very, very healthy. And then there is some no that almost kills your soul because you want to do it for your kids so bad, but you can't. And I took ownership. I said, Josh, you got your family here. You are responsible for getting them out of here. You are the only one. John Maxwell is not responsible. In fact, the most powerful thing I ever learned from John Maxwell was the law of the lid, which is the first thing that taught me ownership. You will never be more successful than your ability to lead people. It does not say your success depends on your upline. It does not say that your success depends on the trainings that you sign up for or the trainings that are given to you by your upline. It does not say that your success depends on how good your product is or even how good you know your product. It doesn't say your success depends on the Facebook algorithm, the Instagram algorithm, whether or not ads have changed and are still working, whether or not webinars are fun. None of that crap matters. The only thing matters is, are you committed to doing whatever it takes? Because when I realized it was all up to me, guess what I did? I stopped making excuses and I started seeking more growth. More growth. When I failed, I was so tempted. I had a room, guys. This is pathetic. I had a room of only about 14 people. That's pretty sad. But I gave a killer presentation. I was a good public speaker. I came from a long line of preachers. Like, we know how to preach, man. We know how to bring the heat. It was a great presentation. And at the end, I offered the most killer offer. It's something we're taught on the John Maxwell team. You offer them a good deal, and then you turn it into a killer offer. A killer offer is when people go from asking their spouse for permission to asking their spouse for forgiveness. It is that good of a deal. People have to sign up. I got to the end of this presentation. I'm in my suit and tie, all John Maxwell style, in a Keller Williams office, which was just perfect for John Maxwell team kind of stuff. And I said, here's the thing. If you're ready to get intentional about your growth process, if you want to do this thing, you're going to need help, and I want to help you. If you sign up today, here's what it's going to include. It was an 8-week in-person course, which there's no way I would ever offer that now. I ain't doing anything in person. Give me a computer where I can be wherever I want, okay? Nobody knows if I'm wearing basketball shorts or jeans. You don't know. You don't need to know. I wear whatever I want. I'm on a call. I said 8 weeks in person. We're going to go through this training together. It's going to be $200. Now, here's the thing. That's honestly a killer deal. I charge so much more than that now, okay? But at the time, I was just getting started. So, I mean, for me, that was expensive to ask. But then I said, here's the thing. It's also going to come with 24 cookies. I was very clever. I had my brother-in-law, who was a baker, make cookies for the event, and everyone got to try the cookies as they came in the door. I'm going to give you 24 of these cookies and a pound of this local coffee shop's coffee that you've been drinking during this event. I got them to buy into this stuff first. 2 pounds of coffee, or two dozen things of cookies, 1 pound of coffee for $200, 8 weeks. And then I didn't even know this was coming, okay? My boss at the place where I detailed cars, he stands up, and he loved the presentation so much. He stands up, he goes, if anyone buys Josh's training tonight, I'll give them a free detail, $200 value. You're going to pay $200. You're going to get 8 weeks training and 24 cookies and a pound of coffee and a $200 detail. At this point, we're pretty much giving away my trainings, correct? Do you know how many sales I made that night? 0. And I'm talking, guys, I can't tell you how many hours I spent prepping for this. I had volunteers that were there greeting people at the door, serving coffee. I even had a tech girl there that was like, we had an overhead and she was like putting all my notes up, and I had cool graphics for it. I'm talking, I put hours upon hours upon hours, went and spent money that I didn't have on a new suit because I was just sure that something was going to sell that night. I mean, guys, I went all in, and I had every person on the way out telling me how incredible it was and how much they loved it and how good of a job I did. And of course, I went home, and as a human, my first reaction was, screw all of you telling me how great it was and how wonderful it was. Not a single, anybody else ever get messages? Oh my gosh, you are so inspiring, and I love following your journey. You are just the most incredible person in the world. Cool. Do you want to be in my next challenge group? I don't know. Is it free? No, it's not free. I have a business. I don't train people for free. This is not a charity. I actually have a business. And I was pissed. And I went to bed pissed. But I woke up in the morning, and in my head at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I am not a morning person. I never wake up at 5 a.m. I had John Maxwell's voice in my head. You will never be more successful than your ability. And I remembered the words that I learned from Good to Great. Jim Collins says a level 5 leader looks out the window to give the credit and in the mirror to point the blame. And I said, I don't know how and I don't know why, but somehow this failure was not their fault. It was my fault. And the only way this is going to change is if I learn from it and I grow. And I evaluated the situation in every way I possibly could. I couldn't figure out what I did wrong. So I did the only thing I knew how to do. Pulled out a book and I read. I said, maybe something in here will teach me. And I just devoted myself to learning and growing and figuring out how to keep getting better. Here's the thing. If you were on this call tonight, live with us, or watching this recording, I promise you, you've had some frustrations. I promise you, you've set some goals that you missed. You've probably been tempted more times than you can count to quit. You've probably had family members tell you that you should quit. You may have even had your spouse be so kind to add up the amount of money you make for the amount of hours you work and politely tell you that you are actually making less money than someone working in a factory in a third world country, and that you should probably just give up what you're doing and go hand sew Nike tennis shoes somewhere. But I'm telling you this, please, please, please listen to me. You are more than capable of doing everything you want to do. I don't care how much or little experience you have. I don't care how much or little confidence you have in this present moment. I don't care how much or little following you have. I don't care how much or little of anything you have. The only thing I need from you is a commitment to stick it out, to constantly take responsibility for anything that goes right or wrong. You take responsibility, you own it, you learn from it, you grow from it, and you move on. When my business fails, I take ownership. I constantly evaluate. If I have a bad month, what did I do wrong? Not what's wrong with the Facebook algorithm, although I am committed to keeping up with that too. But I don't blame it on that. I blame it on me for not keeping up with it. Anything that goes wrong in my business, anything, it's my fault. And I don't say that in a guilting way. I don't guilt trip myself. There's a difference between taking responsibility and feeling guilty. I don't feel guilty about it. I just take enough responsibility to learn and grow so that I can keep moving forward. Please promise me. I need you to promise me you will not give up. I swear to you, there is a day coming. There is a day coming when you will figure it out. You will have the confidence. You will have learned enough. And I'm telling you, on that day, you will be glowing with so much hope and so much joy. And if I could just get you to imagine that day right now, I want you to take a second. And I want you to imagine a day where you have everything you want in your business. And let's go further than that. I want you to imagine a day where you have everything you want in your life. You have relationships you want. You have the vacations that you want. You have the daily routine that you want. You have all the things that you want. I want you to imagine that day. Now, what if I told you that you could have that exact day 5 years from now? 5 years, not 5 months, not even 2 years. What if I told you it would take 5 years of showing up consistently day in and day out to have that life? How many of you would say, Josh, if I could have that 5 years from now and enjoy that kind of a life for the rest of my life, that would be worth the pain. That would be worth the early mornings, the late nights. That would be worth the failures. It would be worth the nasty message that I occasionally get. It would be worth the thousands of ignored messages that I get daily. It would be worth all of that. It would be worth all of that if 5 years from now I could have not just me, but my family have the life I've dreamed. Do you want to know why too many of you aren't living your lives with urgency? Because you don't wake up and think about that every single day. Every single day in that first year, in that second year of my business, every single day when I wanted to quit, when I wanted to give up, when I wanted to throw in the towel, I said, Josh, every single day you don't show up is one more day that your family doesn't have the life that you want for them. And I'm not willing to be that selfish. I am not willing to call in sick on my own business because I'm tired, because I don't feel good, because there's a really cool TV show on tonight that I want to watch. I'm not willing to do that and make my family put off. Because if I put off one day, I was smart enough to know if I put off one day this week, a really good chance I'll put off one day next week. And if that becomes my new habit, then guess what happens? 1 year from now, I have just postponed my dream life by 52 days. And if it was going to take 5 years, 52 days times 5, that's over 250 days. That's almost a full year that I added on to my journey. And unfortunately, that's not even the right math because momentum doesn't work like that. Momentum doesn't work in a mathematical way. If you take off 1 day a week, that's not just 1 day a week. It is momentum that is getting missed all the way. And momentum has this compounding effect where it doesn't add, it multiplies. And because I lived with that kind of an urgency, in my first year, I signed 2 clients. I made $500 total. But because I continued with that kind of urgency, my second year, by November, I made $10,000 in November. $500 in an entire year. And then 10 months into my second year, I was making $10,000 a month. And that's coming from a kid who had never, ever, ever made more than $45,000 or $50,000 in an entire year. I went on the next year to start making monthly what I used to make in a year. I went on to consistently put in urgency like that. And that's what I continue to focus, to try to do month after month after month. Because even for those of you, I know there's a few of you on this call, you have created the life of your dreams and you're stuck. And you're going, what do I do, Josh? Like, I've done all this stuff you're talking about. I'm living the life of my dreams. I want to talk to you for just 2 minutes. I know we're like going kind of long because I'm long-winded. I'm a preacher. You'll forgive me. It's okay. But I want to talk to you for 2 minutes. If you've built the life of your dreams and you're stuck, you're like, I don't know what to do anymore because I used to have this big, huge why. I used to be so driven. I used to be so fired up. I used to be so fueled. And now I'm here and I got all this stuff. What do I do now? Here's what you do now. You think about all of the people in the world who are where you were in year 1 and how bad they need your voice and how bad they need the tools and the resources and the lessons that you learn. If John Maxwell would have not continued, he made it a goal to be a millionaire by the age of 30 and he reached that goal. Pretty sure by the age of 67, when I joined the John Maxwell team, he did not any longer need more income, correct? But if he had not kept putting out new books, continuing to grow, continuing to commit himself to helping more people, there would be no John Maxwell team and there would be no me. Now, I'd still just be like recording a podcast at my parents' kitchen table, hoping that someone would find me on iTunes. You can still go check that out. If you search my name, you'll find a random podcast that I was recording from my parents' kitchen table before I found the John Maxwell team. The world needs your story. The world needs your resources. If you're not fired up for your own goals anymore, that's okay. Create new goals to help other people and let that be your new fire for the rest of your life. I personally look around at the world and I hurt. I literally hurt. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see it in some of my posts. I literally hurt for the people in this world who are still living with no purpose, who are still living paycheck to paycheck, who are still going to bed every single night wondering, why am I even here? My soul literally hurts for those people. And that's what fuels me to keep posting, to keep reaching out to people of influence, to try to speak on their team calls, to hopefully inspire more people. That's what pushes me to create new content. That's what pushes me to do everything I do, is to keep myself fired up so I can keep helping people like you. I'm challenging you tonight to do the same. Keep yourself fired up until you reach your dreams. And when you reach your dreams, keep yourself fired up to help enough other people reach their dreams. That's all I got for you tonight, Melanie. Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it so much. It's an honor to speak for you and your team. I know you've built, if anyone can preach that last little part of making it a point to help other people's dreams, it's you. So thank you. I'm seriously honored to be here tonight, and I really appreciate you having me.
Well, thank you. We appreciate
You're welcome.
you. We appreciate you being a huge part of our call this evening. So where can they go? Where should they go to follow you? And I know like people are interested in your trainings and stuff. So where can they go to check you out?
Yeah, so you can go to follow me on Instagram as Josh Coates Push Coach. I will type my website in here. My website is joshuacoates.com. joshcoates.com is not ready to go yet. We had to go purchase it for $1,000 from somebody, and we're working on getting all my stuff there, but it's not there. So go to Joshua Coates, kind of confusing. That's my website. That's where you can find me. And then, of course, on Facebook, I'm also Josh Coates Push Coach.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much. It was an awesome call, guys. I'll start that little thread for us, or big thread. So start thinking about this. What is your puke goal, basically, and really start to think about, okay, what is it that I want to accomplish? Even in the month of December, I know a lot of people say, oh, it's December. Nobody wants to join a group. Nobody wants to get started. And that's just a self-limiting belief. And we have to just go out there and we've got to take action. So let's go out there and make it a really awesome December. What a great way to kick things off. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I know you had to take time away from the kiddos tonight. So we loved it. Welcome. I'll get the recording posted and I will see you guys next week. We will have Tasia is going to be on our call talking about creating your ideal avatar and marketing and pitching to your niche. So it'll be a great call next week too. So, all right. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.